It's time for the One Bar and Lupica Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupigus Show. I am One Bar, joined by a thirsty Lupigus. Today,
it is Wednesday.
Today, we're going to be talking about what life would look like without a certain Dalvin Cook at running back for Minnesota Vikings. Before we get into that, remember, subscribe to the One Bar and Lupigus Show. Like the videos. We're here every damn day. But Lupigus, let's talk about this life without Dalvin Cook. How would it look?
Quickest video ever. It would suck. It would suck balls.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
And we're done. Yeah, a lot of things would look different. Obviously, the depth chart would be the first thing. And I think that's the first thing we should talk about. Obviously, Alexander Mattison would slide to running back number 1. Mike Boone would go to 2. And the biggest difference now would be, I think, Amir Abdullah is basically a shoo-in to make the team.
That makes me happy. You know how much of an Amir Abdullah fan I am.
You're like his biggest fan ever. So, yeah, Madison Boone are going to make the team regardless. So I think the only real change here is Abdullah. Yeah, the only real change, obviously Dalvin Cook is gone, but the real change, all these guys were on the roster last year. It's not even like somebody gets bumped up because there's nobody to get bumped up. So we keep 3 running backs. We keep C.J. Ham. It allows us to keep another defensive lineman or maybe a guy in the secondary. Yeah, and I think you made a good point, C.J. Ham. He's shown he can be that emergency back, get a couple yards here and there, and catch those 1-yard Kirk Cousins free plays. So you basically would have 4 running backs. I would say 4 functional running backs. You're not going to have the star power of Dalvin Cook, but 4 guys who I think could get the job done.
Yes, and you got to look at it from this angle too. The Vikings are actually in a fairly decent position, probably better than you would expect. If a starting running back, your stud of your offense is threatening to hold out, usually you're not in such a good situation. Alexander Mattison was our 3rd-round pick last year, averaged 4.6 yards a carry, proved that he is actually pretty damn good along with Mr. Boontang behind him.
Yeah, I don't know if there's another team in the league who is basically as set for this situation to happen than the Vikings. Again, Alexander Mattison, I think he would have had a pretty damn good year if he would have just got more carries last year. Mike Boone has shown in his brief time on the field he can be an effective back with his slashing, violent style. What he run for almost 150 yards that final game against the Bears.
Sure did.
Boone can do it. And Abdullah, yeah, he fumbles, but he can catch the ball. He had that big play against the Chiefs. He's another guy. So when you really – if I was going to sit there and think, top of my head, I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs with they just got that rookie and they have what's his chops, but – the Vikings are maybe one of the top 5 teams as far as running back depth goes.
Yes, and we can sit and say that we're in a good position, but the fact is Dalvin Cook is a top 3 running back in the league, so the offense would absolutely take a hit. It's not like we're saying that we would just be fine without him. Offense would change quite a bit, but you got to look at Gary Kubiak too. I'm pretty sure he could make Michael Pierce a 1,000-yard rusher. He's proven in the past that it doesn't matter who his running back is, they're going to succeed.
And he is still going to run the football hard and heavy. There's no way he's letting up on that. His offenses, when he was the head coach, they ran the ball damn near 60% of the time. He's not going to stray away from the running game just because he doesn't have Dalvin Cook. The one thing, and probably the biggest thing I think would happen in this situation without Dalvin Cook, that horrible, horrible situation without him in purple, just a lack of explosive plays. You look at the Green Bay game last year where he just busted up that huge run that basically woke the entire team up and got them back in the game when they were down 21-0. I know he's had many more, but that's the one that comes to mind right away. Every time he touches the ball, he's a true threat to score. And I don't know if you can say that about Alexander Mattison, Mike Boone, or Amir Abdullah, or C.J. Ham.
Yeah, we would. I think we'd be looking at more of the combo. I think there was a year there where we had Latavius Murray and the Jet McKinnon, where you got your guy who can be a bruiser, you got your guy who can make a big play, but it's not going to be something that opposing defenses just focus on, which is also going to be an issue with losing Diggs. We got Thielen, we got a bunch of younger guys behind him, so that's going to allow them to focus more on those guys, opposed to everybody just looking at Dalvin Cook waiting for him to bust that big play.
And it's also going to hurt Kirk Cousins in the passing game. He loves dumping off to Dalvin Cook.
Did you
Even
say
if
he
it's
loves
like
dumping on Dalvin Cook?
loves dumping on him all the time. Even if it looks like it's going to be a loss, Delvin can make a guy miss and all of a sudden get, a 4-yard gain out of what looks like it's going to be a 2 or 3 yard loss. He's a huge asset in the passing game. He's a much better receiver than Madison or Boone. Madison did show surprisingly good hands, and Boone isn't much of a pass catcher. Abdullah can do it too if he hangs on to the ball, but not like Cook. So I think that might hurt Cousins, at least with the dump offs and stuff. And Kubiak might too. He might switch it up a little bit. A lot of 2 tight end sets. He might go, have Cousins throw some other targets, open up this offense a little bit more. But yeah, it would definitely hurt Cousins' numbers, I think, overall.
Yeah, the thing that makes me feel nice and warm and fuzzy in my middle parts is just the fact that Alexander Mattison, during his time at Boise State, he was their guy. He was their lead man. He proved that he can carry the rock. He had like 9,000 carries during his time there. So he can carry a load. Michael Boone, he did have the good game against the Bears. He did everything in preseason, still unproven. But I could see this if they had to roll with those 2 guys, more of a Patriots-esque type of running scheme where Madison might have 100 yards this week and also next week Boone's their main guy. I could see them getting pretty creative.
I thought you were going to say we're going to trade for Rex Burkhead.
Oh, I wish. Sexy Rexy. Come on home.
There's one other thing that would suck and be very annoying in the wake of a Dalvin Cook holdout, and that would be the constant distraction in camp this year. Every single day, there would be the question that would linger. When do you think Dalvin Cook's coming back? And Mike Zimmer would be like, oh, I will talk about the guys that are here. I don't want to talk about who's not here. Every day that would happen. The team would deny that it doesn't affect them, but it does. Look at his empty locker every single day, wondering where he is, why he isn't here, why he put himself before the team. It is a distraction, and that's one thing the Vikings do not need this year, especially with a shortened preseason, without the mini camps, without the OTAs. You don't want these kind of distractions hovering over you in the shortened preseason.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I can't even think of the last Viking that actually held out that caused a little bit of stir.
That should have been your trivia question. I would have said Bryant McKinney.
It's been a while, but yeah, nobody wants to hear that shit. It's the worst. That's all you're talking about. So overall, offensively, I mean, how much does this scare you, the fact that we might have to roll with Madison and Boontang?
It does scare me quite a bit. You look at Dalvin Cook just last year. I mean, the first 3-4 weeks, he was the Vikings offense. Kirk Cousins threw the ball 10 times the first game against the Falcons. So yeah, that does worry me. But at the same time, maybe you just change it up a little bit. You get more of a balanced attack. You're not going to have those explosive plays. So I'm about, if you're going to say 100, on a scale of 100%, I'm going to go about 69% worried.
Wow, I'm right at 50%. I'm really not that scared. I realize that Dalvin Cook is one of the best, but I think we would be able to get close enough to where we're still pretty damn good, and we can concentrate on other things, like you said.
Well, there's one huge thing we haven't even talked about yet. We have had life without Dalvin Cook. He has not been healthy. He has, I think he started 29 games in his 3 years, which basically means he's lost like a season and a half worth of time. This is not new to the Vikings. They have had life without Dalvin Cook. And what were they? 8-8, 10-6. They've done okay without him.
Yeah, they definitely know what it's like. And I think when it comes down to it, I think the Vikings are going to play a little hardball and make Cook show up on his own. I don't think they're going to give in unless they come up with some very reasonable number.
And that's all he's looking for, I guess, is a reasonable contract.
Yeah, we'll see what reasonable means. Before we wrap this beautiful hog up, just prediction-wise, are they going to re-sign him before he holds out?
Yeah, I think they're going to come to some kind of a deal. I really do. I think it was going to happen anyway. Maybe this would speed up the process.
I'm gonna go the other way. I think that if they had something in the works, Dalvin Cook came out and actually said this, he would have just let it play out and sign it. The fact that he came out and said this, I think there's a little, what's the word? I'm gonna say disdain. Is that the right word?
I'm not sure. I was gonna say scuttlebutt, but
I think there's gonna be I think there's a little scuttlebutt there. I think Dalvin Cook's forcing his hand, so we'll see.
Scuttlebutt's not the right word. I just like to say that word, so that's why I put it out there. All right, well, we'll see what happens. Dalvin Cook, maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll hold it all year and just really screw his whole career over. I don't know what's going to happen.
And maybe Alexander Madison will rush for 3,000 yards.
Yeah, over the next 6 years. One thing I do know is this. You are 14% more likely to die on your birthday than any other day.